I have to say, the fact that the Bulls closed out the schedule going into the All-Star break on a 5-game winning streak without Zach Lavine for part of that, without Alex Caruso, without Lonzo Ball, without Derrick Jones Jr. for part of it, and of course without Patrick Williams. Like, I know it was against some of these lower tier teams, but these are still very impressive wins nonetheless because of the way in which the guys showed up, making up for the injured players. And of course, how incredible has DeMar DeRozan been, going on an absolute tear, making history tonight by being the first player in the NBA to score 35 plus points on 50% or more shooting in 7 straight games, surpassing the record that was previously held by Wilt Chamberlain in the 60s. Wilt Chamberlain, and keep in mind, as dominant and as legendary as Chamberlain was, he played in an era where there was no 3 seconds in the key, the competition was far less than what it is today, and Chamberlain scored most of his points inside. The fact that DeRozan was able to do this on 50% shooting or better on lower percentage shots from the mid-range than what Wilt Chamberlain was taking is absolutely mind-boggling. Like, that record will probably never be broken, although I say that, and obviously the talent in the NBA is going to continue to get better and better throughout the generations, so who knows. But for now, DeRozan has made history, and I'm sure it's going to stay that way for some time now. Now, before I go into recapping the game, I did want to start with some very, very positive news for the Bulls on the injury front. Prior to the start of the game, Billy Donovan did share an update on the status of Zach Lavine after being seen by a specialist for that knee that has been ailing him. And according to Donovan, that visit went very well. Some swelling was taken out of his knee and that he's going to be able to be cleared for activity within 48 hours, which will mean Zach will likely be able to play in the All-Star game and, of course, return to the lineup after the All-Star break. And to be honest, the fact that the Bulls were able to hold down the fort without him and keep winning gives Lavine some rest, and then of course added rest with the week off from the All-Star break. So this is great news for the Bulls, as I'm sure most were pretty worried that when it was announced that he was going to be seeing a specialist, that we were going to receive some unfortunate news that would keep him out for a significant period of time. But all signs as of right now point to Zach returning after the All-Star break. But we also got some positive news on Alex Caruso, that he is expected to be cleared to resume dribbling and shooting in 7 to 10 days, which is huge, as that means that Caruso is tracking to really the earlier end of that 68-week time frame for which he was out. This, of course, after the bullshit flagrant foul from Grayson Allen that had sidelined him ever since. I really wish that Caruso would be back for that game against the Bucks on March 4th at the United Center, but that likely isn't going to happen. It's going to be a little too early for him, but you can probably expect him to return shortly thereafter if all goes well with his recovery. But anyway, as for this game, now I mentioned DeRozan and his yet again incredible run that he's having right now. Historic run, and obviously he came through in the clutch yet again tonight for the Bulls. He finished the game with 38 points on yet again insane efficiency, shooting 16 for 27, and he did that tonight, not getting to the foul line very often, which, by the way, side note, the officiating was pretty bad tonight. Like, you guys know I don't normally complain about the refs very often, but the fact that DeMar was getting hammered and all the calls that he would normally get were just being ignored. And the fact that the Kings were getting a lot of calls, especially in the first half, was asinine to say the least. But either way, DeRozan, who scores a lot of his points at the line, well, tonight he had to do it from the field and was incredible yet again in the fourth quarter. He also had 6 rebounds and 6 assists to go along with his 38 points. But I don't want to just sit here and praise DeRozan because I feel like that's all we've been doing lately, because there was another guy tonight who absolutely balled out and was huge in the clutch when the Bulls needed it most, hitting some massive shots. And wouldn't you know it, it was his 22nd birthday today, and the dude played like it was his birthday, putting up a season high 31 points on 11 for 19 shooting. He was 6 for 11 from 3. And of course, you guys know I'm talking about Coby White. It's great to see Coby knocking down that 3 more consistently. Not only that, but he also had 5 rebounds and 6 assists, and only 1 turnover in 40 minutes of play. Now, what I liked most of this showing from Coby was the fact that he was phenomenal in the fourth quarter. Not just with his scoring, he had 13 points alone in the fourth, but also his composure, his decision-making, the poise for which he played. Generally speaking, I'm not saying all the time, that's not usually the case in late-game situations for Coby. One of the things people harped on Coby about last season was not only his inconsistency, but also the fact that he wasn't that great under pressure. Which, granted, last season, you could have said that about pretty much everyone on the Bulls. That team simply was not good under pressure at all. So to see Coby playing like a smart, savvy veteran in crunch time, especially when the Kings started making some runs, and him maintaining his composure and hitting some big shots was incredible to see. Now, of course, the other guy I've got to call out is Javonte Green, who, by the way, I will be doing a dedicated video on some point during the All-Star break because I just love everything this guy does. The dude works hard, hustles, knows his role, and does it well. And also, is Javonte becoming an outside shooter? Like, the guy has been hitting threes consistently now for the past month or so. Tonight, he had 15 points on 3 for 4 shooting from behind the arc. The guy just does all the little things that you need a player to do. And I've said it before, he brings the energy to this team that they really need and they thrive off of. Vucevic was solid tonight, not the best shooting night for him as he still continued to struggle shooting from deep. Really think they need to just keep going to him inside. But either way, he still put up 21 points on 8 for 18 shooting, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals. What I've also liked seeing about Vucevic recently, though, is his quickness in getting the basket when he's driving to the hoop off a screen or from the top of the key on a dribble drive. You know, we weren't really seeing that from Vucevic at the beginning of the season. And it's good to see that confidence coming back from him. And then Io, the defensive stopper, getting up and down the court in a hurry to get a block, chasing down guys on an open drive. That one that he had on Dante DiVincenzo was great. He also finished the game in double figures with 12 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists, with also 2 steals and a block. So anyway, look, I know it's the Kings, but hey, give the Kings some credit. They've actually looked a little better after making that trade for Sabonis. But even with it being the Kings, the Bulls have still been incredibly shorthanded, especially when you look at the bench minutes tonight. And they still managed to show up well in this game, keeping up that effort for the full 48 minutes. They took smart shots, they shot well, had great ball movement, player movement on offense, did a great job out rebounding the Kings tonight, and they more or less took care of the ball pretty well, especially in the fourth quarter. And for all those people who said that the Bulls were going to fall in the standings because they didn't make any moves at the trade deadline, and they're going to be missing all these players due to injuries, well, look at them now. They're on a 5-game winning streak and sitting in sole position at the top of the Eastern Conference now, a half game ahead of the Miami Heat for the #1 seed. Just phenomenal. Anyway, guys, I'll still be uploading throughout the All-Star break. It might not necessarily be daily, but I'll still be making content, so make sure you're tuning into that. And as always, guys, be sure to subscribe if you're a Bulls fan, as I do post daily Bulls content. Thanks again for tuning in, guys, and I will catch you in the next one.